Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. It's nice to have you guys here for the drama panel. I wish we could have done it the way you guys were set up there, like just talking while you're like this. I'm gonna try to like turn as best I can. I guess I wanna first start, covering TV, I'm often having conversations with my colleagues about all that's going on and all that's changing. I guess I sort of want to throw it out there. What do you find fascinating about the current state of TV? Is it the way people are watching, like in any type of device? Is it the amount of time they're willing to spend watching, like over the weekend, like they'll sit 12 hours sometimes? Or is it the way that they're engaging on social media? What do you find interesting right now?
I think the word binge coming into our lexicon is a really great thing. I think that's, people say, on the street, they go, I binge-watched you last night. And it's sort of a weird new verb. I like that. But I'm most excited about the fact that there are so many options and so many channels and so many ways to stream and see things that when people are passionate about something, they really let you know because you might not have heard of it. And I think that's people are talking about things when they really, really like them and really engage with them. Whereas before, I think you could always assume that people would know things that you were really excited about. So I like that. I think more choice is good.
And social media, because that's where I find a lot of shows. Like, I heard of a House of Cards, of course, but then when I saw people talking about it on my timeline, it made me go, whoa, what's this? And then I watched it and I was hooked.
Did you binge watch?
I did.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can watch television because I never have time to sit down and catch an episode of anything. So it's a great way to sit and catch up and not have to wait in like the agony of what's gonna happen next. You can just watch the entire series in one sitting with a bottle of wine.
With a bottle of wine.
Are we starting to lose our ability to put off short-term gratification though? Like the idea of waiting now another week to watch a show, I've always hated that, but maybe it's good that you hate that. Maybe it's good to kind of not have to. Now you can just plow through. I mean, I love it. I'm the same as you. Like, I just want to keep going with something, but I wonder what that's doing to us internally now.
Because that's how you watched the first season of Masters of Sex, right? Didn't you sit down and sort of take it all in?
I just watched all 12 hours of it in 2 days or something, and it really, I think that reinforced the idea that I've heard people saying that a whole season of a TV show now is like making a 12-hour film if it's a 12-episode thing, and it did reinforce that in me. So then when I came to do the other seasons, I'm sort of thinking of it like that more. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
How about, I talked to some directors and showrunners, just how it sort of changes their process, knowing people are sitting down with it and sometimes watching 5 or 6 episodes, and the way they're watching, like sometimes they're watching on a phone, so does it change the amount of clutter that's on screen when you're directing, knowing that people are watching it smaller, and some say, they try to streamline. For you as actors, does it change the way you're sort of taking on the character? Like, do you feel like you need to be more subtle with some of your choices, knowing people are gonna be with it for a much longer time, or do you feel like you have to remember what happened in like 7 episodes because people are gonna like sort of remember? I don't know if it does it.
I try and do very tiny gestures because if I'm on a tiny phone.
I think
Never
subtlety.
know.
That's true.
I think subtlety is an
even thought of
overrated.
that.
Yeah, I never.
Now I'm gonna worry.
Now I'm all confused.
Or actually, when you know people are going to watch it on their phones, you do everything real quick.
How you like headbutt the camera.
But this interesting thing about connecting the dots. I didn't think about it because of binge watching. I just thought about it as a series overall because when you get finally the 12 episodes or however many episodes in the can, it really does play like a one big movie, so I do keep that in mind. Well, I'll bring up something that was in episode 3. I'll bring it up again in episode 12 just to connect the dots. But I never thought about it like that. So that's my excuse. Yeah, I came up with that because of this binge watching.
Well, I would imagine, like, you're talking about social media, Taraji, and like with your show, part of, it seems to me from the outside of it, part of the excitement for people is kind of just the reaction to what happened. Oh my God, what's going to happen? And so having the gap is really important in a way, for social media, people to exchange their ideas about it and get really excited about it. Whereas if everyone just watched it all in one go, they wouldn't have that opportunity in a way with a show like yours. I imagine that's part of what's exciting about
Well,
it.
if it's appointment TV, if you have to sit down and catch it, well, then the thing is that if you are heavily involved in social media, then it becomes, oh, I don't want to miss it. I don't want any spoilers. So you have to sit down and watch it. And then it's like, okay, I can join in on the conversation or the Twitterverse, you know. Yeah, social media has
I
definitely
don't like how
changed the
you,
game.
when you, people get really annoyed because of the time difference in this country.
Yeah.
That
I'm
they
one
say-
of those people.
Well,
Tell me why.
well,
Tell me why.
because they say like, you know, oh, you've got to live tweet the
Oh,
show,
yeah.
and you're live tweeting it, but it's not on yet, and sometimes, like on the Good Wife, it's always late because of the football.
Yes.
And so some people see it and other people, and people get really pissed off. I think, why aren't you watching the telly instead of looking at your Twitter? Oh, then why do you do live? I mean, it's also a terrible thing, I think, in a way, to say to an actor, would you please, whilst people are watching you in this episode, distract their attention by writing inane comments about what you did during the filming? It's a really, when you think of it, it's not very respectful to yourself. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, our show, I think, is in some ways quite sort of traditional, and you know, it looks quite sort of old school in certain ways, and I like to think of it in, like, my own taste is for something that has things threaded through the entire series, and you know, it does need concentration. You do need to focus on it. So I feel the same way with our particular show, that the idea of live tweeting and all that, no, just sit and watch it.
It's kinda
But I
hard
think for
to
other
do.
shows, it's really great for it.